Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the globally televised Entrepreneur Hour. Today is a very interesting topic. I actually believe I'm going to say something most people are not going to like to hear. Right now, you need to be working for free on what it is you want to be doing with the rest of your life, because there's never going to be a better time than right now to get into whatever field you were interested in getting into, but you maybe had some life situations where you couldn't get into it. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Miguel Sanchez. I create content around marketing, innovation, and monetization. So today's episode, I'm really looking at scenarios that are happening to me right now, and people reaching out to me and telling me stories. And I thought, you know what? I think people need to understand this. So the idea is, right now, I'm going to start with me. I always, like I've been saying, I'm looking for ways of creating multiple revenue streams, right? But when I look at it, I say, okay, what type of revenue streams do I really want to be involved in? Do I like? Do I enjoy? Right? So in all this content, I'm looking for revenue streams that excite me, make me happy, and be able to want to do them. So of course, the technology one, I've been doing it forever, creating businesses, creating startups. I do that left and right, and I love that. And then I realized I wanted to be able to give back. And of course, that can be looked at as why you want a revenue stream for that, but it's hard to maintain something if you're not getting paid to do it, unless you're filthy rich, right? And a lot of times those people who are filthy rich, they do whatever they do, and then they pass off whatever percentages of profit to the thing that is the need, the give back, right? So I wanted to figure out a way where I can work on the give back and it give me a revenue so I could do it more often, right? So when I go and I think about myself, I say, okay, I've started a nonprofit. It doesn't really pay me right now, but it's on its way to possibly paying me. Of course, I started my own business, my own technology business many years ago, and it's been paying me for many years. But I have had ups and downs with that business. I've had like very bad times with that business. So that was when I realized, you know what, to only be reliant on one business is kind of scary, because as a business person, you can't really time the market and understand that the industry that you built your company to manage and help is going to go away. And now I see that happening faster and faster. When I first started Mass Ideation, I was primarily a banner production agency, advertising banners, right, on websites. So when I started to do that, I was one of the best at doing it, and I had a ton of work. I had like unlimited almost amount of work. Had a bunch of people. I was hiring a bunch of people, and then I realized it started to go away really quickly. And what happened was the world got better at creating banners. So what does that mean? You can get banners done for a lot cheaper than hiring top people in New York City or San Francisco, where in the beginning that's where we all were. So we demanded higher rates. So if I have to pay freelancers higher rates, I have to charge higher rates. And we were doing some of the best stuff in the world, so they were going to pay it, and they did. But then when they realized we can get it for cheaper and it's not that much worse, of course it's not as good, but it's not that much worse. So that people started testing outsourcing banners. So I started to say, okay, I can't just be mostly about banners. I got to get into animation, video production, and I started getting into that stuff. But when I got into that stuff, even as a business, you can't charge a client for things that you can't show that you've done. So what does that lead you to? Working for free, right? In the beginning, I had to show that I could do this. And I think you were there, Doc Goody, on Instagram, right? You know how it was. So Doc Goody comes from the days of augmented reality. I think if that's who I'm thinking it is, I gotta look at your name. But so augmented reality was a thing that I really believed in early on, but I couldn't convince these huge brands, Pepsi, Coke, all these, to do augmented reality. So I said, all right, it's the chicken and egg scenario. And this is the scenario all of us are going to be in right now. We're in this scenario right now. Which one comes first? The chicken or the egg? Right now, you want to be in whatever scenario, whatever company, industry, whatever job type that you could want, right? You may, and most likely, you're not in that right now. Most people are not working in the thing they really want to be in. But why I'm creating this video right now is because I see a humongous opportunity to get into whatever it is you want by offering your work for free at first. And I'm not above doing it either. I've done it many times in my career. The first augmented reality project I got, it was because I paid my own profits of my company, which is not like I'm a multi-million dollar company every year. And I built my first augmented reality app paying a developer out of my pocket for something that no one else was paying me, right? So in a way, my company worked for free for this agency. We showed the work. Thank God I was able to turn it around and make it make me money later. But if I wouldn't have done that for free at first, I probably wouldn't have done any augmented reality work ever. Because to convince someone to do something that I couldn't show we did, really tough. So right now, even right now, I'm doing it in many different ways though. Entrepreneurs in general, we are not afraid of working for free. When we come up with an idea, we know we're going to have to prove it before it makes money for a long time. What does that mean? You can't be scared of working for free, right? Like at the end of the day, I'd rather work for free for me than other people, of course. But if you work for free for the right people, with the right connections, with the right intent for yourself, you can do it. So, and I know it's not PC to say, but right now, I know people who are going into industries that they wish they could have their whole careers by working for free, right? And even me, right? Right now, I have a landscape of technology that I'm looking at, and I'm saying, okay, where do I want to be? Where do I want Mass Ideation to be? Where do I want to be as a personal brand? Content. What am I doing? I've created over 100 episodes of content for how long? For free. Nobody's paying me for this. One day YouTube will start paying me. But that could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. But in a way, I'm fine with it because I know what's going to bring, and it has brought already. So I had a conversation Friday with because on Friday I had a show about how to take advantage of this impending, or it's already in the middle of, or I don't think it's in the middle, it's in the beginning of economic collapse. And after the show, I get a call from my friend. He just took a role in a company, and we're having a conversation, and I tell him everything that I have going on. So then I say, all right, let's figure out how we can make money together, of course, always, right? So he calls me back the next day with a great idea. And he talks to me about what I was talking to him about. And he says, I think what you can do is you can be a fractional CTO, what he called it. And I was like, okay, explain what is that? And he said, there's people who hire C-suite employees, like people like him. He's like a CFO, COO. So they hire him at a certain amount of hours per month. And he's like, it sounds like a lot of what you're doing is that, but you're probably doing it for the wrong industries, which mostly I do it for startups who don't have a lot of money. So he was like, but do you realize there's other industries that do have a lot of money and do need what you do? And I was like which? And he said a bunch. He said, why don't you test it out with one of the ones that have money and then show that to the next client? So I won't say the industry or anything. You'll know once it starts happening. But right now I don't want to say too much. So we this all happened from Friday. Today's Monday. We had 4 conversations about it, partly because of what I'm doing here, right? And I already have, today I found out before 10 o'clock in the morning, I have a client that I'm going to work for free to figure this out. Because if I can get into this industry as a fractional CTO, I will not have to worry about any highs and lows of any other businesses I have. And I won't have to work 40 hours a week on it, right? I can work 5 hours here, 5 hours there, multiple clients. So that is an ideal scenario. And, one of my definites is I can do it from anywhere in the world. I can do it and I'm a remote guy from always, but now that we're in this remote world, much more industries and companies are much more okay with that. So I decided to do it. I said, all right, I'm going to give a certain amount of hours a week to understand this industry and this idea. And of course, what industry or company that knows they need it is going to say no to, look, I have an idea. I bet you need what I do. Yes, we do. I don't really know how to service your industry yet. But what about if I give you my services for free for a few months so I can learn the industry, help you like you need and I can do, and we'll both win because I get to show you as a client and I get to learn from behind the scenes in an industry that I don't know, right? So before 10 o'clock this morning, I got the yes. So from Friday night, the guy calls me. We have the conversation. He calls me back Saturday like, I think you can do this. We speak again Sunday with one of our mentors, who's both of our mentors. And he said, definitely this is a great idea. I want in. Monday morning, have a client. Because it's not like I'm saying, hey, you need to pay me a lot of money. I'm saying, look, I will work for free because it benefits me. Right? Again, I used to tell the Metabronx students this summer at my nonprofit, the one I was talking about, I always went above and beyond. Whenever I had a project, let's say I had a project where somebody hired me to make, I'll give you some of the stories. I'm going to give you some of the stories I gave the kids. I don't know if I ever said these stories live. Crazy. All right. So I'm going to tell you a story where when I first got into making web development, I was working in a mall. And I had screwed up because I didn't apply to high school. I didn't apply to colleges. I'm sorry. I went to a great high school where we had a great acceptance rate and we learned. I went to art and design high school. I knew Photoshop and all this stuff more than my teachers in community college because I messed up, right? So I didn't apply to college because of just being stupid. So I ended up in a community college working in a mall selling sneakers after college. And I wanted to get back into the game because I knew this stuff, but I'm working in a mall. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go and I'm going to intern for somebody. So I started reaching out to all my friends, and of course, I have friends from the hood that were in the music industry. So they got me in to Loud Records at the time. Loud Records was one of the top record labels back then. And I even did a stint at Bad Boy Records. I interviewed Sean Prez a while ago, and we still talk a lot. But I went into record labels because I was in the hood. It's kind of the way out, right? It's entertainment. So I went into the record labels and I was designing logos and doing stuff like that because that's the kind of stuff I was really good at. But I saw in this room these Asian kids. It was a record label, and it was black and Hispanics working everywhere, and there was these Asian kids that would come in and go into this room. So I go into the room and I'm like, what's going on in here? What do you guys do? I want to learn what you know. That's how I am. Always want to learn. I don't care. And they told me we're making websites, and I'm like, what the hell's a website? I didn't even know what it was. Turns out it would be my future. But by hanging around those guys, they eventually spun that part off into another company that made websites. And I went to work for that company. And I was willing to go for free. They paid me very little. And the record label, I was working for free. I was still working at the mall, and I was working for free at the record label to learn and get experience that wasn't selling sneakers in the mall. So, fast forward, they start this company. I have been working with them, learning, of course, all extra, not my actual thing that I was supposed to be doing. I was doing that too, but I was doing that for free, right? To learn it on my own. I mean, with them, not on my own. Fast forward, I get fired from that job. It's a funny story. I don't know if I'll tell it to, you know what? I'll tell it. You know what? I'll tell it. So I get fired from that job because when I started working with those kids, they were young. They were kids, basically, my age, a little bit older, and they knew a lot more. They were constantly learning and trying new things. And I said, all right, to get online with them, I got to do a tutorial every day. Every day, I'm going to get on one of these websites and do a code tutorial to step my game up, right? So every day for years, I did a tutorial, one a day. At that point, I was making $100 a week at this place. They were basically just paying me to come and eat and take the train. I lived in Jersey, so I would have to drive, pay toll, take the train, eat. So $100 a week, I was going almost every day. But I was still working in the mall on the nights and weekends, right? Because that's what I was making, like $300 a week doing that. And I was in college still. So, but I did my courses was they were all in one day. So I would have like one whole from 8 to 10, and all my courses were there, so I could work the rest of the week. So then I get to the point where I'm doing tutorials, and one day the boss comes around and I'm doing a tutorial. And of course, that's all me, right? Doing that on my own. So he's like, what are you working on? And I was like, I do a tutorial every day. And I'm working on this website for this DJ. And here's one of the tutorials I'm doing, and I'm hoping to be able to use it here. He was like, I'm going to teach you a lesson. He was like, before you work on anything that's not for this company, you should go to everybody in this company and ask, do they need help? Before you work on something that's not going to help my company. And I was like, that makes sense. I never thought of that. And he fired me right there. So that was cool. But so what ended up happening was, I would always, anybody who come in, I would meet them. Hey, what's up? My name is Mike, Miguel, whatever. This is what I do. Show them my work. I'm a salesman, even from the beginning. So luckily, one of those people that I did that for, when I got fired, I reached out to everyone. And they were like, you know what? Your work is good. Your work is getting much better. Come in. This company was in Wall Street. They were like, come in. We're doing websites for celebrities. Come in. So I was like, okay. I showed it. I showed my work. My work was crazy. I was doing tutorials every day, so my work was getting better and better. They were like, why don't you come in? We're going to give you $8 an hour, which for me, it meant I could quit my mall job. It was not a lot of money, but I could quit my mall job. So I said, sure, let's do it. So I went in there. First job I get is like a very low level job. So I said, I don't want to keep doing this job. But in my head, I was like, all right, but how do I get out of doing this job? But I'm not going back to the mall, right? So first job I see, when I come in, they're giving me these like remedial tasks of a web developer and stuff. I'm like fixing an e-commerce store, the graphics and like little code things here and there. But I hate it. I didn't want to do that. I want to work on the celebrity websites. So they get Cash Money Records. This is when Lil Wayne was like 15 years old. The company gets the Cash Money Records website. So I said, I'm working on that. I don't care. I'm working on that. Right? So they assigned the company. They assigned who's working on it. And I wasn't on it. I wasn't, because I'm the lowest level person. I'm the newest one in. So I said, I'm getting on that job. So I asked the guy who brought me in, how could I get on that Cash Money Records job? You see my portfolio. I could make that a crazy website. And he was like, look, you're new here. There's been people here that work for at least a year. They want to be on that site. They get paid 80, 100, 150K because they're like seasoned veterans. And you're like the new kid on the block. You make very little. They have you on little. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get you on that. And I was like, who do you think I have to talk to? And he was like, yeah, talk to the creative director. I remember, I forgot her name. It started with a K. It was a woman, a white woman from SVA. She had went to SVA, and I started at that point. I was taking night classes at SVA. So I go to her and I say, look, can I please work on this? Look at my portfolio. I've been working on tutorials. I think I could add something to this. She was like, well, it's really hard. I can't take anybody off that project, and they are paid to do projects like that. And then what happens with the work you have to do? If you're doing that work, who's doing the work that we're actually paying you to do? So I said, you know what? What if I did it on my own time for free at night? You don't got to pay me extra. I will show you that what I'm saying I can do. She was like, well, how can I tell you no? And I'm like, exactly. So I do it. I work my ass off. So back then they were making a website in HTML. This is like, I'm super old. So they're making a website in HTML, and I knew this new thing. It was called Flash. And everybody was like learning Flash, but I was doing a tutorial a day for, at that point, almost 2 years. So I was really good at it, right? So I made the website in Flash, and they ended up using my website over the people who were being paid a huge amount of money to do the HTML one. They had mine was the first thing that people saw. And then the backup was those guys' website. So I'm like, all right, I proved it. What I said was right. So it happens again. Because we made that website, Star Wars approached the agency I was in and said, we really love the Cash Money Records website. We want you to work on our new Star Wars website, or at least bid on it. So I was like, I'm doing it again. And I remember talking to people at that time and them being like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't give them the free work. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Make them pay you. And I was like, you think I'm doing it for them? You really think that? And they were like, yeah, they're giving you, they taking advantage of you. I was like, when I do this website, I could write my own ticket to wherever I want to go. If I make a sick Star Wars website that is actually for Star Wars, whether they use it or not, don't you think I'm going to be able to get any kind of scenario I want? So I did it. Worked my ass off at night, weekends, made the best Star Wars website I could make. The way agencies work is sometimes they give 10, at that time, they gave 10 companies a chance to bid and give, I guess, concepts to see who would get to the final 3. Because of my animation website craziness, we got down to the top 3. We didn't win, but we got down to the top 3. And there's much more to that story. I won't go too much into it. But because of that website, my next website was for Jennifer Lopez. Because, again, and at that website, they were paying me $25 an hour. So I went from $8 to $25 an hour because I worked for free. Right? So when I think about what's going on right now, that was around the 2001 recession. That was right after the Twin Towers were hit. Right? So I think about that now because we are in that situation right now. There's a lot of people wondering what they're going to do with their careers, their lives. And I'm telling you right now, I would not be here if I didn't work for free. But I wasn't working for free. None of that time I was working for free. I was working for me. I was getting experience and portfolio products that I could show to get the job I wanted. After the JLo website, I got hired by Disney. And then I went on from there and I was getting paid. And then until now, but I never stopped that mindset of where you want to be. you start out for free. Because where I come from, the opportunities are not just everywhere. So I see that, and I think right now opportunities are becoming less and less. So if you are right now, if you want to be in a different industry, a different whatever job, or even start a company, when you start a company, you're working for free. Entrepreneurs work for free for a long time. That's why when the money starts coming in, we get most of it, because we're paying ourselves back for all that free time. But if we don't work for free, this stuff doesn't exist. Nothing you see, nothing here, computers, cameras, none of this stuff would exist if people didn't work for free at first, to figure stuff out, learn industries, get involved in industries and technology that they are not normally able to get in, right? So right now, I look at this, and I look at it across the board, and of course, I want to hear from anyone that is thinking about it. And I guess my question of the day is, are you willing to work for free right now to become whatever you want to be once this economic situation levels out and jobs come back? Are you willing to work for free? I am. I'm doing it right now, and I have stuff going on. So I definitely am. I'm working on content for free. Nobody's paying me for this yet, but they will be. I'm working on this new startup for free. I've been working on it the entire pandemic. I actually even raised funds for it through angel investors, and I didn't pay myself. I paid to have it built. So I'm working for free there. Technology startup working for free. Content working for free. Consulting idea that I got this weekend starting to work for free tomorrow. So again, think about how fast this went. Friday I did the show about the economic collapse and what you could do about it, which is talk to people. Talk to everybody you know. Out of whatever it is, on Friday night, my friend calls me to catch up. My friend just got a huge role at a huge company. And he's like, and we're catching up. And what I tell him sparks an idea that the next day, it sparks the idea overnight, like not while we're talking. We're just catching up, laughing, just catching up. The next day he calls me, he's like, you know what? Based on our conversation last night, I think you should do this. And I said, you're a genius. Yes, I agree. And he said, okay. And I said, but how am I going to get? And he's like, that's where, just offer it for free for a few months, and then you're in total control. You don't got to spend a lot of time. You just got to understand. You just got to get in there and learn. Have somebody let you get behind the scenes and learn it. And what you know, if you can take the learnings plus what you know, you never have to worry about money again. It's like, I like that. And you can do it from anywhere. I like that. So then the next day we talk to our mentor. The mentor co-signs it, says, brilliant. And I want in. Next day, got a client before 10 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, when do you want to start? And I said, tomorrow. I'm coming in tomorrow. So that's, and now if that ends up working out, that will set a baseline for mass ideation and myself that won't have ups and downs, because the industry is recession proof, right? So that's me right now in a pandemic doing what I'm talking about. I'm not just telling you do something that I won't do myself. I did it and I'm doing it. And on top of I'm doing other stuff. Like I'm doing stuff that actually has to pay my bills, and I'm still carving out time to get to this point where I know the pros and cons of all the businesses I have. And if I can do this, it kind of levels out every pro and con of every other thing I do. So why not try it? Why not try it for free? Because if it works, it can literally change everything. So am I going to be like, well, if nobody wants to pay me my rate, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to try it until somebody's willing to pay me that. In a pandemic, why would that ever happen, right? But right now in a pandemic, the opportunity is there where people are hurting. They need the stuff that people like me do. But I'm sure there's something that you're thinking about that you're like, I really wish I could do this. And I'm sure there's a company or an industry that is needing it. If you're thinking about it, they need it. So why don't you just go to that industry, that company, that person, and say, look, I'll give you 5 hours a week for free. 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week for free. Most people are not going to turn that down. I don't care what level they are. They're not going to turn it down. And if you listen to any of these people that make content like me, that are way richer than me, they will tell you the same thing. But what I'm thinking about right now is the people like me that come from where I come from. There's very little opportunity for us. But right now, the playing field is leveled. Everybody got knocked back down. Everybody, no matter where you're from, everybody's worried about the future of their jobs, their companies, their lives, right? So it's an easier time to reach out and be like, hey, I have an idea. Am I right in thinking you need this? Yeah, you are. All right, I have an idea, but I haven't really figured it out. Would you be willing to let me help you for free, because you know I know how to do what you need, to help me figure it out? And once I figure it out, of course, if you think it's good, you can keep working, but I'm going to use that to work on other stuff, to work with other clients that are willing to pay. Very, very little bit of people will tell you no. Very little. I can't even see why they would tell you no unless they already have people doing it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we're good because we have that already. But if you come up with like an angle that is something that they don't do yet, I'm telling you, like right now, what this guy told me Saturday, it was like I had no clue. But from having that conversation, he figured it out for me. And of course he wants in. So already I have 2 investors for the idea that he came up with because he knows I can do it. Right? So it's like that came from a conversation, a catch up. It's crazy, which is exactly what I was talking about how to do on Friday, the Friday episode. So go check that out. So I'm just looking at it and I was like, all right, I think this could bring value to people right now because I know a lot of people. I know many people. Most of the people I talk to, they're not in the industry they want to be in, and they kind of ask me for help to help them get to that. And I'm like, this is what I think you should do. This is how I can help you. This is how I think you. This is a person I think you should speak to. I've helped people. I remember I had an intern, and this is my guy. We still talk a lot. He came into my office. He wanted a job. He had just finished working for Deion Sanders for free. And he was like, I saw your website and I don't know. I just think what you do is cool. Like, I want to figure out how to I want to work for the NBA. Oh, this is what I asked him. I said, all right, I know you see my website, you hit me up, but what do you want to do? Like, I'm coming at this from your side. I'm saying, okay, how can I help you? For you to help me, how can I help you? And I said, look, don't tell me what you want to do for my company. Tell me in your ideal scenario what you want to do. He was like, I really would like to work for the NBA. And I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to help you do that. But I was like, all right. And I was like, what do you think you do for me? He was like, I don't know, you tell me. And I was like, well, you're a good salesperson because you came in and we're meeting and you harassed me and I didn't even have a job for you and you still got me. So I was like, I think you'd be good at sales actually. And if you could help me with sales, let's see if I can help you get to the NBA. Fast forward, 3 years later, the guy's a social media guy at the NBA. And I mean, there's a bunch of stories around that, how that happened. But it all started out from him coming in, telling me that. And then we both crafted a plan that would get him the experience for free. I couldn't pay the guy. I didn't have money to do what he needed. I didn't have money for his role. But I told him, if you sell, I'll pay you. Of course. If you get me a sale, I'll pay you. But how about this? Why don't you target sports agencies, sports industry people? Because then what that will do for you is you will get people in sports on your network. And I could work, mass ideation, we work with anybody. We can do anything. So it don't matter to me where the jobs come from. If they come from sports, I'm a sports fan. So go into sports. Talk to everyone in sports. Try to get what we do from them. He built up a network. Worked it, because that guy he's a hustler. He ended up running social media for the NBA in less than 3 years from sitting at my desk. And I didn't pay him unless he got a project. I think I gave him money a few times because he was such a hustler, and I felt like, damn, I want to keep this guy around. But he started out for free because I didn't, but he thought I could help him, and he was right. And now we still talk a lot, and that's my guy. You know who you are if you're watching. So like, I just see, and this was a white kid. So this is one thing that I want to just touch on, because like I said before, minorities, we don't have as many opportunities. This kid has opportunity. He went to a great college, great family, more money than most people from the hood have. He came in humble and said, I'll work for free. Now I know there's some extra part here where I wish I had people like you around to join my team, Miguel. Thank you. I don't know who you are, but thank you. So he went to a good school. His parents had more money than most. And I know, what I was about to say is, I know in environments of color, places of color, it's hard to work for free because you have bills. I get it. And what did I do? When I told you my story, what was I doing? I was working at the mall to pay my actual bills. Luckily, I was doing it at a young enough age where I was still living with my parents. So $300 a week, I could live off that. I had a car. I'm still living with my parents, right? But I know as you get older, that becomes harder. But even if you have a job, there's a lot of hours in the day. You could give somebody 5 hours a week to be heading towards the industry you want to go at, right? You definitely can. And there's even, so I think I remember who you are now. There's even startups, right? So I do this too. I do this already. That's part of why this guy thought of it. I get hired as a fractional CTO for startups, and either they pay me or I take equity, right? So this is the conversation. I didn't even realize I was giving him a seed for the next day to sprout an idea. I didn't know that. We're just having a conversation about what's going on and what I see, what I think, and the next day he has that idea. But why I'm saying this, that he was a white kid, was I feel like minorities need to look at that and say, look, these people have more opportunity than us. And in times like that, they're willing to do stuff we're not willing to do. Because I was willing to do it a long time ago, but I don't know if many people are willing to humble themselves now. And this is the time to humble yourself, because everybody's humbled right now. There's nobody that's not humbled. I don't care how rich you are. People are worried right now. People are worried. And they're willing to try things. So if you have an idea and you know it brings value, reach out. Just reach out to people. 10, 20 people. I bet you somebody will say yeah. I bet you anything. Try. If you tell me, if you reach out to 10 people and nobody tells you yes, I wanted you to DM me, call me, whatever it is. Come on my show and say, hey, I didn't do it. I want to know what you're pitching, because it must be what you're pitching. There's 0% chance that 10 people tell you no at working for free. 0. So I'm not telling you do all the work that you need to do 40 hours a week for free. I'm telling you, spend some time going towards the industry you want to be in, or something that you think relieves some of the pressure points in what you have going on. So for me, the reason why I'm thinking about it is because I mostly work with agencies. Mass Ideation was built on working with agencies, but there's ups and downs with agencies. There's times where agency work is really potent and times where it's dead, right? So I've always known that, and I've always tried to fill those other times with other stuff. So that's where I started working with brands directly and startups. But even that, I feel like I want more diversification, multiple streams of income, right? So even within my company, I'm saying, okay, how can I make another part of the company that just does this? Just does CTO rental, for lack of a better term, retainer CTO, or external creative director too, creative CCO. But CTO is much more needed right now. Everybody realizes after the pandemic how little they know about technology, and that's why people are calling me right now, because they're like, I know I messed this up, I'm not doing this right, what should I do? And I'm like, oh, all you gotta do is this and that. And they're like, I pay a guy $100,000 a year, he didn't tell me that, right? And I'm like, that's why you needed me, right? So at the end of the day, I have a skill set that it works for. You do too. Whatever it is. I don't care what it is. I'm telling you, you have one too. So for me, I just want to help. I want to figure out how. Is there anybody right now, especially right now, you watching, put up the question. If you have a question about how you can do it, don't be shy, because there might be somebody watching. They be like, look, I'll take that service. Like, I'll be a test dummy, right? I'm telling you, it works. So, I think the first step is humble yourself to say, look, I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not where I want to be either. I'm farther along there where I want to be, but I'm not where I want to be. So I'm saying, okay, what are all the things that are going to get me to where I want to be? Creating content. At first I came at creating content like, all right, I got to hire somebody, pay somebody to come and do this. The real thing is, everybody said, get somebody to come do it for free. I couldn't get anybody to come do it for free, because the way I wanted to do it was pretty often. So I said, I need to learn how to do this myself. I need to be 100% independent to be able to do this every day. Whenever I drop of the dime, I want to do it, I need to understand how to do the entire process by myself. So I've been working on it for over a year for free. But now I got it down. And now I could probably create a course, consult, and now I have the skills, right? And maybe I will. Like, even right now, I'm going to tell you another thing I've been thinking about. And I'm already kind of doing it. People have been reaching out because of this, because of what I do here, and saying, can you help me make my podcast or my show? And I said, all right. In my head, I'm like, okay, I already know how to do this. What's the benefit in me doing it for free? So I said, okay, what if I've been talking about multiple revenue streams? Courses is one of my revenue streams I want to do. So what if I help these people for free, but that content and that learning is a course that after I do it with them, I sell that course to everybody else. Everybody else was going to have to pay. But the first group of people that come in, and maybe I'll end it at the first 10, I'm willing to help you get a show off the ground, podcast, whatever you want, YouTube. I'll show you the whole in and out of what I do, create videos based on the questions you ask me. Then I'll put all those videos up on a course and sell it. So think about that, right? Like, even in that environment, I can figure out a way to finagle working for free to help me, right? It's something I wanted to do anyway. I need to figure it out. So you can't charge somebody for a course you haven't figured out. So I gotta work for free at first. And I already do it. So it's really not much I need to figure out. But somebody reached out with a question yesterday that I didn't think about. And I was like, you know what? If you're serious about it, you could be one of the people. Because I know you're gonna do it and I can help you. But I need people that are going to definitely do it, because when it's free, people don't take it serious either. So sometimes that's a worry, that you got to make sure you're going to go in there and not half-ass it. So right now, I'm talking about giving this organization a certain amount of hours from my hours that I could be billing for something else, or chilling with my kids, or just not doing anything. So I got to make sure that I'm going to treat it like I am being paid, though. Because if I treat it like I'm not being paid, it's going to have the reverse effect. It's going to ruin my reputation instead of helping it, right? I'm doing it for free to gain a reputation in that industry and have references and referrals to be able to be like, oh, you don't believe I did it? Call that person, that woman, that man. He'll tell you. She'll tell you. Okay. Can't do that if you're trying to charge for free, or you're trying to charge from the gate and you don't know what you're doing. You're going to hurt it. You're going to hurt your chances more. But we call it test dummy for a reason. You're going to fuck up. You're going to do stuff that's not right. You know, it's going to be learning. So when you learn, you fail. So it's better to fail when you're not charging somebody. You're going to fail when you're charging people. Let alone failing really bad in the beginning, you'll never get to start. So one way of not getting that, and this is like everybody I'm talking about that in this whole story of speaking to the person, talking to the mentors, reaching out, all these people make a lot of money, a lot. Every single person in this story makes a lot of money. And they all said they would do what I'm doing because it's a genius idea. And if it works, it's going to make a lot more money than they make. So why would I not try it? I'm not rich. I'm going to try it, right? And I'm going to give away hours of my time for free to see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't care. I'm going to do that. That's entrepreneurship. If you're willing to be an entrepreneur, you know you try things, you fail, right? So you can't go at this and say, I'm not willing to even give myself the opportunity to win, right? By saying I'm only going to do it if somebody pays me and you haven't ever done it, you're not even putting yourself on the field, right? Like there's no way to win the championship because you're not even in the game, right? So I'm putting myself in the game, right? That's like me going to the Yankees and saying, look, I'm going to play third base for you. You don't got to pay me. But trust me, I can hit. Well, that probably won't happen. But that's one of the only places where it probably ain't going to happen. But if you look at even sports, if you look at places like the NFL, all those coaches, they all start off for free. All of them. T. Hernandez, you my guy. You one of my test subjects. So what I'm telling you now is, okay, look at what you want to come out of this pandemic being. I want to be a content creator that gets paid for my content. I want to have steady revenue streams that are not affected by recessions and ups and downs in the market. I want to be doing creative stuff, and I want to be helping startups, and I want to be helping young people get into innovation, into the innovation economy, because I really feel like, I don't care how old you are, if you're not heading into the innovation economy, you're going to be screwed. That's why I'm creating this content too. Anybody watching this, I hope you're learning things that will help you get through the next phase of the economy, because it's going to be a bloodbath. I just was watching something this morning where the guy was saying already millions and millions of jobs will never come back because of the pandemic. Why? Because they've been automated. Why? Because they realized if there's a pandemic, people can't work. Machines can work. So we have the money right now. Let's test this out. And it's working. It's working better than they're thinking, and it's going faster. It may have shortened the time of automation being like a problem by a lot. So this is something that I'm like, all right, I want to start preparing people, helping educate people. There's another thing that I learned this weekend from having a conversation with my mentor. When me and this other guy start talking to the mentor, part of my reservation was like, I don't really love that industry. I love the effect it will have on the people that use that industry, but I don't want to be in that industry. And he said, you got to stop thinking that way. My mentor said, you got to stop thinking about the industry. You are a teacher and a leader. That is cross industry. But the skills and the talent and the mind space is the same. So it's not that whether you're working in this industry or that industry, it's what you're doing. And I guarantee you get in there and you see all the challenges they have and you help them fix it, and you see the results of the people that are benefit from that, you're going to love it. And I said, look, you've been much more successful than me. I'm going to take your advice. But right now, I can't see it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it, right? So here's the thing about it. I don't 100% love what it is right now. I've been told it's a good opportunity, but I don't know. I have more than enough stuff going on, and I'm still willing to do it for free to see if they were right. If they're right, the result is way better than me not even trying. If I try, I lose a few hours. All right, who cares? Right? Like, I could have been playing with my kids or doing something else, sure. But if it works, it could change everything. The way everyone I've asked since responds to it, it's crazy. So we'll see. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how I believe everybody needs to operate right now. Look at yourself, look at where you want to be, and say, okay, what are the steps I'm going to need to be able to take to get in there? So if you say, okay, sports, like I said, like my friend, and like NFL coaches or NBA coaches, a lot of those people start out for free. A lot of them. And NFL more because a lot more coaches. And the NBA it tends to be players more. But a lot of those people start out for free. A lot of them. Right? Most of them. That are not players. So, I definitely want to hear more and more from anyone that's trying it or is thinking about it. But I do believe, I'm really honest about it. There's not going to be a better time than this. When the economy comes back and they start hiring, right now there's a lot of people without jobs. There's a lot of positions being filled. I've literally been hearing about CTO positions that haven't been filled for months. CTO, technology, right now. Imagine not having a person that understands technology in your business during the pandemic. That is crazy, right? It's an opportunity. But I was just looking at it in the wrong places. But I'm not too proud to try, right? So I really hope by, anybody who's watched this, please like it wherever you're watching it. Please follow, subscribe to me on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Twitch. And yeah, man, I challenge you. Here's my challenge. My question of the day is, are you willing to work for free to get into the industry you want? My challenge of the day is, are you going to find 10 people, 10 companies, and reach out and offer your service? Give them 10 hours. Not a month, 10 hours total. Why not? 20. 5 hours a month. 2 hours a week. Whatever you could give. Alright, got you, Team Hernandez. Let me know. I want to know what you're doing. I'm telling you, this is the best time. But as soon as this starts ticking up, you will lose the opportunity. I'm telling you, it's still gonna be possible. It's gonna be a lot harder. Right now, and I'm sure there's a lot of people doing it. I'm sure of it. People are doing it with me. That's part of why I thought about it. People are doing it with me right now, and they're like, all right, I know you're on top of this stuff. Where should I be going? I'm like, I don't know where you want to go. And they're like, I want to be in this industry. All right, so maybe I could point you here. Maybe you could work on this with me because I do need that. But it's something that I'm not being paid for. So if you're willing to get in there with me and experience only, yeah, sure, let's do it. And now those people are going to be in the places they want to be eventually. I don't know if right away. I don't know if in 3 years like my other guy. But I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've done it. I would not be where I am, being able to work at the agencies I worked for, if I didn't do it for free at first. And even think about what I said. I was doing a tutorial every day for years. That's working for free. If I told you right now you have to code website after website after website for yourself to learn it, in a way you're working. But you're working for free. But you're working for yourself. And that's the thing. When you work for free, just make sure you have a benefit in the work. Don't just work for somebody, take the free work, but it doesn't benefit you. Never do that. If it doesn't benefit you, don't do it. You have to go in understanding how it benefits you. Because if you don't, you're gonna eventually feel taken advantage of. You know, and I've been there too, right? So I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, of course you work for free. You should understand that as an entrepreneur. I think most people that don't see themselves as entrepreneurs don't think that way. So that's part of why I think this content is so important. I think you should be looking at yourself and saying, okay, how can I be in the industry I want to be in? So on that note, thank you for watching. And remember, innovate every day. So when I talk about all this, I'm saying innovate for yourself, right? That's an innovation. What can I do that's different to get into where I want to go, or make sure I maximize my future? So hopefully that helped everybody, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you back tomorrow.